Welcome to an America East Skype session. I'm Andy Katz, pleased to be joined by Stony Brook's Jeff Boals. Already want to know in the America East as we get into the heart of the America East schedule, 12 non-conference wins, including 4 road bye games, and I've certainly highlighted those on other platforms. It's been a great start to the season. Jeff, how do you explain it?
Andy, thanks for having me on. I think, we got a resilient group of guys. We got one senior, one junior, the rest freshmen, sophomores. And I think, Jerron Cornish, Akwazi Yaboa, Elijah Olani kind of set the tone this summer of our culture, our work ethic, with the 6 newcomers that we've had. And it really started game 1 against George Washington. We were literally down 22-0. Couldn't make a shot, missed our first 18 shots. And I was like, are we ever going to score? And we set a goal to be down by 10 at halftime. We were, and the finish of the actual game was crazier than the start. And I think once we won that game in overtime, it really set the tone for the rest of the year, winning on the road and really finding a way to win.
I look back to obviously last year, and this league has had success in other times, but UMBC's victory over Virginia was a 16-1, but the America East has not always been a 16. And I know we got a long way to go before we get to those 3 days in March, but what do you think these kinds of wins have done for you, for the league, that ultimately, because the goal of the league is ultimately to get out of that 16, to have a 14, a 13, even at the very least a 15, so you have more of an opportunity to advance in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, there's a reason that UMBC was the first ever to do it. It's tough to win as a 16 seed against top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament, and hats off to them. It was a fun ride to watch. It was great for our league, and really shows that anybody could be anybody on a given night. And, that's what you kind of play for is try to get that 13, 14 type of seed where you have a chance of the upset going in the first round and trying to get the second game.
Your team obviously was not picked to win it, but you've done a great job of blending here early in the season, as you mentioned, the newcomers and the veterans. As you get into the throes of January here, were there a couple of guys that maybe have exceeded your expectations even to this point?
Yeah, we knew going into the year, our goal wasn't to be 12-3 in non-conference. Our goal is to win the championship, and it's part of the growth process. Fortunately for us, that we won 12 and we won 8 true road games. So our guys are battle tested, and we got a young man, Miles Latimer, who really hasn't played like a freshman. Came from a great high school with Fairfax, Paul VI High School, with a great coach. Came in ready to play and compete. We got another freshman, Jules Moore from Hargrave Military Academy. Those two have really ignited us, in certain games. And then the leadership of Akwazi Yaboa, he's really came into his own. Before he got hurt, he's averaging 19 points and 9 rebounds. And we've had multiple guys step up on any given night. And, when we beat Rhode Island, our second leading scorer, Elijah Olani, was out with a concussion. We beat Northern Iowa. Akwazi Yaboa was out with a knee injury. So, different guys have stepped up, and I think our depth has really helped us.
So you mentioned Yaboa's injury with his knee. Overall, give me an assessment of where this team is health-wise as you get deeper into the America East.
Yeah, as healthy as we've been, I think like every other team, you have to nick, knack, bang, and bumped and bruised. But, going into the year, the America East play, we're healthy. Quasi played this past game and scored 19 off the bench for us. So, he's a big part of what we're doing and our success.
So coming off the bench and scoring 19, how did he handle sort of coming back into the lineup and blending right back in? Obviously, production-wise he did, but how about emotionally, mentally?
Yeah, he was great. He only had one practice before that game. He really hadn't practiced since December 21st. He got hurt in the Quinnipiac game, and luckily for us, the timing of it with the break that we had, and then not playing until Northern Iowa, and then the other day, he had a long break, and that was really helpful. Our strength coach George Green, Dan Leonard, our trainer, did a phenomenal job with him, keeping him in shape. And, we didn't expect him to play 32 minutes, but foul trouble kind of necessitated it. And, he was tired afterwards, but, he felt good.
All right, so how are your guys going to handle, really, you could argue, the target on your back, because you're the team that's probably had the most recognition here in the first 2 months of the season?
Yeah, our guys have done a great job. And early after we beat South Carolina, we kind of talked about handling prosperity just like adversity. And it's tough when in the social media world with the pats on the back and the messages that you get. But understand, that wasn't our goal, but it's part of the journey. And our guys have done a really good job of kind of being in the moment. Our mantra this year is kind of win the moment. Last couple of years, we looked ahead to March 10th and March 11th, but that wasn't doing us any good. Looking ahead, control what you can control. And our guys, they're a fun group to be around. They work really hard, and they've embraced that win the moment type of mentality.
All right, Jeff, before I let you go, outside of Stony Brook, we know obviously Vermont has been very consistent in this league. Who do you think basically are going to be those teams that are going to be the ones that you're going to have to make sure you chase down here to win the league?
Yeah, normally any league like ours is a junior senior driven league, and Hartford has 5 senior starters. Obviously, UMBC and their success is kind of carried over, but Vermont has been playing very well as of late. Probably have 2 of the top 8 players in our league. So I told our guys, if we don't bring our A game, on any given night, home or away, you could lose. If you look at a team like UMass Lowell was picked, last in our preseason, but no one knew how good Lutetti was, the transfer from Radford. And in the net ratings, they're ranked number 3 in our league right now. So, we just have to have a mentality of bringing our A game, home or away, doesn't matter the opponent, and take it one game at a time.
Jeff, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Andy.